You've seen it, right? The pitch, the fast cars, the exotic crips, the money just magically flowing into a bank account while you sleep. It's a really tempting fantasy, isn't it? But you know, that's all it is, a fantasy. So let's talk about the reality.
Look, a lot of people out there are selling this exact dream, telling you print on demand is the magic key. And hey, it sounds incredible. But I'm not here to sell you a fantasy. My job is to get you ready for real success, and that takes a solid plan, not just a bunch of hype.
So here's what I will promise you. I'm going to give you a real, actionable playbook to get a business off the ground. And this is coming from someone who's actually been building and running companies for a long, long time. We're going to cover exactly where to click, what to do, and, best of all, how to start this thing with absolutely $0.
Okay, first things first. What exactly is this print-on-demand thing we're talking about? Let's break down the core concept, because its genius is really in its simplicity. It is, and I mean this, a truly zero-risk way to start a business.
Think about it. If you wanted to start, say, a traditional t-shirt company, you'd need to find a factory, buy thousands of shirts up front, and then pray they sell. Otherwise, you're stuck with a basement full of boxes. Print-on-demand just flips that whole model on its head. You only pay for a product after a customer has already paid you for it. No inventory, no risk.
And here's the magic of how it works. It's so simple. Step 1, a customer finds your cool design online and buys it. Step 2, that order automatically gets zapped over to your print-on-demand partner, who then prints your design on whatever the product is. A shirt, a poster, you name it. And Step 3, they package it up and ship it straight to the customer. You never even have to see or touch the product.
Now, I want you to really look at this number, $40 billion. That's how big this market is projected to be. It's set to grow by almost 7 times in the next few years. In all my years in business, I've seen really smart people fail for one simple reason. They jumped into a shrinking market. This is the exact opposite. This is a booming market where having a solid game plan can lead to some pretty amazing results.
All right, so you're on board with the model. But the big question is, where do you even start? Well, the very first, and I'd argue the most important step, is figuring out what you're going to sell. Seriously, getting this part wrong is the difference between making hundreds of sales and hearing crickets.
Not all products are going to make you the same kind of money. You got to be strategic here. So, I want you to stay away from things like cards and calendars because they're super seasonal. We want stuff that sells all year round. Mugs and phone cases, the sales volume just isn't there. Instead, I want you to focus your energy on 2 things: clothing and wall art. Why? Simple. People see them as being worth more, which means you can charge more and make a healthier profit.
And that brings me to my personal, non-negotiable rule. You should always be aiming for a profit margin of at least 20 to 30%. Anything less than that, and you're pretty much just spinning your wheels for nothing. That buffer, that margin, is what makes the business sustainable and actually worth all your effort.
Okay, so you've picked your product. Let's say it's a t-shirt. Now, for the million-dollar question, right? How in the world do you come up with a design that people will actually pull out their wallets for? Do you need to be some kind of creative genius? Do you have to invent something the world has never seen before?
I'm about to tell you something that might feel a little wrong, but in the world of business, it is a fundamental truth. Do not try to be original. Seriously, the pressure to invent the next big thing is a trap. It's a trap that 99% of beginners fall right into, and they end up creating something that absolutely nobody wants to buy. The real secret? It's to study what's already working.
I call this the artist method. Your job isn't to be a painter in a lonely studio, it's to be a market researcher. So you're going to go on a platform like Etsy, you're going to find the top-selling designs in whatever niche you chose, and you're just going to start taking screenshots. Now hold on, you're not going to copy them directly. Think of it like you're a bartender making a new cocktail. You take a font you like from one design, a color scheme from another, a layout from a third, and you mix them all together to create something totally new and unique that's built on ingredients you already know people love.
But Mark, I'm not a designer. I hear you. And you know what? A few years ago, that would have been a huge problem. But today, it's just not an excuse anymore. We have these ridiculously powerful AI tools that can do all the heavy lifting for you.
My top recommendation right now is a tool called Midjourney. For about $10 a month, you get access to this insane design engine. It works through a chat app called Discord. And I know, that might sound super techy, but trust me, it's easy. You basically just type a command telling the AI what you want to see. The more detail, the better. The AI spits out a few options, you pick the one you like, make it a high-quality file for printing, and then use a simple tool to get rid of the background. And that's basically it.
Okay, so you've got a product and you've got a killer design. Now for the next huge decision. Where are you actually going to sell this stuff? The two big players in the game are Etsy and Shopify, and honestly, most beginners get this choice completely wrong.
Okay, let's talk about Etsy's biggest superpower. It's the absolutely insane amount of traffic it gets. We're talking almost 500 million visitors in a single month. Let that sink in. It's an established marketplace. The customers are already there, and they're actively searching for things to buy. You don't have to go out and find them. They come right to you.
So here's the deal. Etsy gives you instant access to this massive audience, which is perfect when you're just starting. The downside? You're competing with a ton of other sellers right on the same page. Now, Shopify is your own private little island. It's your store. You own all the customer data, which is super valuable, and there are no competitors trying to steal your sales. But, and this is a huge but, you have to bring in every single visitor yourself, and that means spending money on ads and marketing.
So the smart move here isn't to think Etsy or Shopify. The pro move is to think of it as a sequence. You start on Etsy, period. You use its massive built-in traffic as a totally free testing ground to see which of your designs people actually buy. Think of it as your research phase. Then, once you've found your clear winners, the products that sell again and again, that's when you build your own Shopify store around them.
All right, let's switch gears for a second. We're going to move from tactics to mindset, because you can have the best design on the best platform in the world, but if you don't get this next part, you are going to fail. We need to talk about profit.
I see this all the time. So many beginners get completely obsessed with big, flashy revenue numbers. They love to brag, I made $10,000 in sales, but they conveniently forget to tell you it cost them $9,900 to make those sales. Revenue is a vanity metric. It's for show. Profit is what actually pays the bills. This is a profit game, and you have to protect your margins like your life depends on it.
And trust me, those margins can vanish into thin air if you're not watching closely, especially on a platform like Etsy. They've got listing fees, transaction fees, payment processing fees, and then there's this off-site ad fee that can take another 15% bite out of your sale. All of that comes directly out of your profit, which is exactly why we focused on picking those high-margin products from the very beginning.
Now, I have to bring up a comment I get all the time. People see this opportunity and their first gut reaction is doubt. They say things just like this, claiming it's too late, that all the good ideas are already taken, and that the market is just way too crowded. Let me just be blunt for a second. The whole idea of a saturated market is complete and utter nonsense. Of course it's hard to enter a market. That's what business is. Your job isn't to find some magical empty field with no one in it. Your job is to show up to the crowded field and be better or different than everyone else. Saturation is just an excuse people use for not trying hard enough.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question. Most of the people who complain about saturation, they've tried listing maybe 10 designs or 20, maybe even 50, and then they quit when they didn't become a millionaire overnight. But ask yourself this. If you haven't even put in the work to test at least 1,000 different products, can you honestly really say you've given it a real shot? The truth is, you probably haven't even started to scratch the surface yet.